Hey, rip out my shirt if you love me. Spit in my face when you fuck me. Play with my goose while you suck me. Eat the dick like you was ugly. I mean, hold on. Wait, where your friend bring your buddy? I don't think that you enough it. Her favorite thing to say is cuff me. Slut me out.
Joshua, we are back for our second rendition of Demon Time.
And this week, we have a wonderful edition. We have someone who, in a world full of hockey and devil fruit powers, pulls up on you with the Glock and empties it in you.
Into your face. This is the man, the myth, the legend,
Don Quixote
Doflamingo.
Hands down the greatest villain in One Piece.
Period. He is fantastic. Every time you see this man on the screen, he is just the pillar of ignorance and evil. If you thought Agnologia was bad, at least he had good reasons for it. This nigga Doflamingo is just built different, bro. Which we will get that to it later in a speech this nigga gave to Law called "I Am Built Different." Let's just hop right in. When this nigga was 10 years old, he murdered his father.
Cut that man's head clean
off. You found out later it was because he was a former celestial dragon, and he wasn't just a celestial dragon. He was the epitome of what a celestial dragon is. He views people as less than human, livestock even. So when his dad chose to leave, he was the first one looking at him like, what the shit are you doing, man? What the fuck are we doing here?
When his dad renounced his celestial dragonship to hang out among the people, he gave up all the things that Doflamingo had grown up with.
Slaves, riches, jewelry, gold.
To walk among the common people that absolutely hated them. So then after leaving the next couple of years, they got absolutely bullied basically by the common people. Doflamingo blamed his father. But he came up with the bright idea. If I take my father's head to Marie Joie, maybe they'll restore my celestial dragonship.
Pulled up like Catcher Freeman to cut that cracker's head clean off. Took it back to Marie Joy, and they beat the shit out of him, almost killing his ass. So that day he vowed, fuck you niggas. I'm going to destroy the world that y'all rule over. Because fuck everybody. Fuck the commoners, fuck the celestial dragons, fuck everybody. So that is your intro to Doflamingo. If you wanted to know what kind of demon he is if you haven't seen One Piece. This is gonna be the video to definitely get you rested in that show, because this man is fantastic.
We know somewhere along the way he learns a secret when he's in Marie Joie. And apparently it's something that the world government absolutely does not want to get out. Apparently he holds some card over them that we just don't know what it is.
And we still, to the current day, do not know what this is.
Basically, this is the reason why he goes on to be the epitome of piracy. Black markets and all kinds of everything that you would go synonymous with pirates is the things that he started doing.
Slavery,
he basically ran the black market.
All of it.
Yep. Smuggling, weapons, drugs.
Artificial devil fruit.
Taking over kingdoms, which we'll get to shortly. The real next thing that we see him do is when Law is introduced. Law shows up after all the shit that happens in his hometown.
Yeah.
And
Law was damn near on death's door because everybody in his town minds some shit that turn them all white and kill them. So
when Doflamingo saw this little boy all pent up with rage and anger, he's like, this kid could be just like me one day. And I like him, so we're going to keep him around.
Obviously, Law didn't end up liking that idea.
Long story short, he ends up befriending Doflamingo's brother, Cortisone. Cortisone is supposedly mute. He can't speak. Supposedly, quote unquote. It's actually just his ability. He's able to make like a soundproof barrier around himself.
Yep.
Or other people.
Kind of like Room, but with sound. So eventually he gives Law the devil fruit that he has to heal himself. Dofi was after that motherfucker.
Yeah,
he found out.
Yep, the arc was basically Doflamingo wanted to get this fruit. He was successful, and then Cortisone flipped it and gave it to Law in order to heal himself.
Mm-hmm. And then Doflamingo, as the good, kind, loving brother that he is, killed his brother. And this is where Josh loved it because they had a devil fruit battle. And
no. This man pulled up and said, "Oh, not only did you give my devil fruit to the Law boy here, you're not actually a mute, and you've been spying on for the Navy. So guess what, brother of mine?" Pulls out the Glock, empties it in his face. That's your brother who has devil fruit powers. And you have devil fruit powers. Nope. Glock. Every single time.
And that's what makes this man different than the rest of any of these niggas in One Piece. The rest of them will at least fight and kill you with their powers. He's just like, nope.
You're not worth my power.
I'm going to shoot you in the face. Always with the biggest smile and the fattest forehead vein. Yep.
Biggest smile and the most menacing laugh there. But then we go on to his first actual appearance in the series, which is him rolling up to a meeting in Mariejois of the Warlords.
Oh, man.
And before he's even on screen, he's using his powers to have henchmen fighting in the meeting room. And he's like, I can't control my body. I don't know what's happening. And the other guy's like, stop messing around. Stop fucking swinging at me. And then Doflamingo's just sitting there on the balcony, twiddling his fingers like,
Yeah, which brings us to our next point. If this nigga doesn't find you as a decent enough enemy to fight himself, he will manipulate another nigga into murdering you out of pure fuckery.
Yeah, he said, why do I gotta get my hands dirty when I can just let someone else do it for me with my power?
Mm-hmm. His next big appearance was at Marineford. We saw him pop up when they was fighting Oars. Oars tried to attack him. He giggled that off, jumped over him, sliced his leg off, and then
took over a couple of Fadra's bodies, had him take out a couple of people. He went toe-to-toe with Crocodile for a little bit. He was more trying to just get him on his side than anything. Which kind of tells you a lot. That means he wasn't really trying too hard. You know, he gave us one of my favorite speeches in the entire series about justice. That's a great one. Let's see. I know he ends up taking out Moria at the end in a pretty easy fashion.
After all that disrespect, we move in straight into Dressrosa, where this man's arc was just the most disrespectful arc in all of anime history.
Well, really, we'll include what happened all in Punk Hazard here too, because that's really where this originated.
Yeah, at the very end of Punk Hazard, he basically calls these niggas and sets up his own arc.
But in Punk Hazard, they deal with some of his henchmen in Caesar and Monet and them, and they cause him a little bit of grief.
They blew up his smile factory.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. They kidnapped Caesar.
That was a big thing, which basically popped it all off.
But anyway, all of this is just Law's plan in the long run for them to go after Kaido. They know Doflamingo's in a pact with him, and they take out Doflamingo. They weaken Kaido before they go after. Long ditch effort. So
very long.
Plus, him and Doflamingo have some bad blood due to the cortisone things we talked about.
Shot him in the face.
So Law actually rings up Doflamingo. Law rings up Doflamingo and is like, "Listen,
I'm gonna need you to retire.
I'm gonna need you to retire from the Warlords. And if you say no, then
Caesar is done.
Caesar is dead, and you can produce no more Smile ever.
Ever.
And that's going to hurt your pockets. And Kaido will be pissed.
Very.
So Doflamingo's like, okay, Law, I'll play your game. Next morning, newspaper come out. Don Quixote Doflamingo has retired from Warlord. Law's ecstatic. All right, we're on our way to Dressrosa here to give you Caesar. We'll see you soon.
As soon
as they pull up on the shores of Dressrosa,
didn't even get to the shore yet. The papers
a new paper
already flying in the sky, bro.
False report. Don Quixote Doflamingo still remains a warlord. We've been had.
We've been super had.
Super duper had.
He's still a warlord. And the best part about it was the whole country of fucking Dressrosa was tripping on him, like outside his window, like, oh my God, you retired. What happened to all our protection? That's the only protection we had from the government.
That shows you take our shit. Friends in high places and strings he can pull to put out a false newspaper
all over
on the same day, overnight.
Yep, and retract that bitch. That shit is nuts. So from there, we find out he is still a warlord. Now, Luffy and Law have teamed up for all this ignorance, and he just started putting them through the ringer immediately.
Like, the first confrontation, Law and him and Fujitora were having a three-way face-off, and Doflamingo was just running the tables on him.
Yep.
And then you get Law and him in the city, and once again, Doflamingo empties a fucking clip into him in the middle of everybody. Town Square, basically, empties the clip into him.
In broad daylight.
And laughs about it. This is in a world full of devil fruit and hockey users, we have this man mowing people down with a Glock in Town Square. And that is why Don Quixote Doflamingo is one of the greatest villains
of all time. That man go hard. Skipping past all of that ignorance, we find out in this arc that this nigga has been on Eisen level shit behind the scenes. He basically planned a lot of the shit that we have seen playing out up until this point, which is just a mindfuck of a reveal because it's been 600 episodes damn near at this point. It's been a lot of shit happening, you feel me? And this nigga had a hand in basically all of it.
And you come to Dressrosa and see it as this happy place. But really, it's full of slavery and black market deals.
People turned into toys and their memory literally forgotten.
Worst things that you could think of going on in this. And this is a country that he took over by force. He used his power to take control of the former king and had said king kill his innocent civilians.
Man.
And thus swooping in as the savior pirate and coming in becoming king.
Which is double fucked because halfway through the arc, when these niggas actually confront him and start getting to ask him why, he's like, hey man, a long time ago, before everybody ever went to Marie Joy and created the Celestial Dragons, my family ruled this land.
So therefore it's mine.
Therefore it's mine by birthright. And everyone's just looking at him like, that's not how that works. But in his head, that's exactly how that works. And he don't give a fuck who'll tell him otherwise.
The former king was so nice and he was reduced to being hated by all of his people. So this pirate lord could rise. And at the end of Dressrosa, Fujitora drops a great speech about that. But I won't talk too much about that. Doflamingo, through this whole arc, just gives everybody the work. I mean, he throws up the bird cage that nobody can cut, not even people like
Which
Zoro.
is just crazy, because Zoro, could cut through damn near anything. These niggas are shooting cannons at this shit. All sorts of ignorance, and it's just slowly retracting.
And all the meanwhile,
cutting everything.
He's still playing games with Luffy like it's fucking nothing. He has fucking Bellamy fight him, and then he got mopped.
Again.
Yeah.
He always one punches that man.
Yeah,
it's so
terrible.
terrible.
Then Doflamingo finally gets his hands dirty And this is where shit I want to emphasize is crazy. Prior to his interaction with actually fighting Luffy,
he made a
he
shadow
gets
clone.
stabbed by Law, by that little electro knife thing, which is like severely damaging. So he literally
damaged
had to use
his internal organs.
Yeah, he had to use his power to try to patch himself up the best he could. So like half of his internal organs were part string.
Which means the whole time he was fighting Luffy, he was literally healing from injuries.
Yeah, he was weakened already. So he's fighting with Luffy in, base. He's just scrapping Luffy, beating the shit out of him, basically. They have a pretty decent fight. Luffy has to go all the way to Gear 4. Runs out of time.
So twice.
Yep. So runs out of time. So has to run for this man for a good solid few minutes.
Yep. They had to stall this man for a whole episode while this nigga Luffy was literally running away.
Yep.
Because that nigga that strong.
And then comes back again in 4th gear again, and they still get to a point where they basically draw it out. I mean,
he was damn near about to run out of time again. Luffy, Doflamingo's awakening was no busted. Fucking joke.
He was
bro.
recreating
he turns everything into string.
Yeah, he turns everything into string. He was weakening the attacks as they were hitting him. And if he hadn't been weakened by the electro stab at the beginning, it's very possible that Doflamingo could have ended the series. But again, that's where the plotness comes in, because this isn't the first time we've had this situation. People always talk about, people getting saved by plot. This is technically one of those moments. Doflamingo would have absolutely mopped him.
Yep.
If he was at full power.
Luckily for pirate culture, they jumped the shit out of niggas.
And Doflamingo was one of those, y'all gotta jump the shit out of me.
Jump the shit
squad. And one of the greatest things, even after his defeat, that absolutely makes him a menace. This man is locked up in jail
right now,
still
laughing
his ass off,
at
saying,
the world.
I told you so. Ever since y'all locked me up, shit has gone exactly how I told you.
I said it was gonna get worse. And shit has gotten worse.
Your whole system that you guys were running with your government sitting at the top of your peak, that's just all crumbling down before your very eyes. Ever since you locked me up.
Yeah, and for the anime only people, if y'all not reading the manga is just getting worse. And I'm pretty sure he's still in jail somewhere, just guffawing his ass off.
I'm pretty sure they showed him a couple chapters ago. He's still in jail laughing. After Wano's over.
That's what I said. After Wano's over, you still see flashes of this nigga.
We're talking, he knows what's going on. Even though he's in jail, so he still has sources like that.
He's still connected.
So if you think you've seen the last of Don Quixote Doflamingo, believe me, you are wrong.
You have not. You very much have not. He will
once again rise from his jail cell in the final arc. You have my
because this is just pure speculation at this point. We still haven't seen what he knows about Marie Joy, and I feel like that's going to play a huge role in that last arc of ours.
No matter which side he comes out to be on, Doflamingo will in fact be in the final arc. Whether he's recruited once again by the government, or if he just decides to be a menace for the other side.
Which is what I'm hoping for, because if this nigga come back on straight bullshit and we get enough likes on this video, you best believe we're gonna do a part 2 to this shit.
If he comes back and yeah, I don't have anything better to do, I'll fucking take on the government and just starts fucking killing officials and shit, I'll be down for that.
Would be fantastic. So, that is Don Quixote Doflamingo, the demon of One Piece.
The absolute fucking demon of One Piece.
Absolute menace. And if you like the video, make sure to like the damn video, hit the subscribe button, noti bell, so you can join the fam and be ready for future videos. We are for all the people actually been watching the Dokkan upload, Sand Day is coming up. The anniversary is going to be busted. We got a bunch of more different types of videos coming up. So please be on the lookout. And if you made it this far, like I said, give me a like and subscribe. So
check out the rest of the ones we got already. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We got the part 1 Acnologia,
which is doing fairly well.
Doing very well. See if I can put the link in the description. But Signing off. This is Josh and Josh, Anime Plus. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.